Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I present to you the Short Sticks podcast number 12. Would you believe number 12?
Number 12, man. 12 podcasts. We've made 12 podcasts.
And I'd like to give ourselves a pat on the back. Does that make sense? I feel like that sentence did not make sense.
This one?
There we go.
It's not. Oh, wait, that one. There you go.
Thank you. I feel better now.
There you go.
When you think about it, it's only 12 shows, but when we established this show, we said, let's get to 2 shows and, we'll see what happens. And now we're 12 shows in.
All I want to say is if we did 2 shows and then we stopped, I think I would have been really upset. We paid for a whole lot of equipment.
Oh,
a lot of money.
A lot of money and a lot of time.
And then boink, 2 shows later. So
it is, and the response from the listeners, it's overwhelming, outstanding. It's very pleasing, heartwarming.
Can I say we've got a following now? A small following, but a following.
It's not thousands upon thousands.
Look, I believe that somehow it is thousands of people. We have a listener in America. He sends us memes. We've spoken about him before.
We haven't had a meme for last week. He didn't send us anything.
Yeah, I know. Where are you?
Hey, if you're listening, send the meme
Just
back.
because we didn't post send one about me. Yeah. Just because we didn't repost it.
I think he's quite upset.
Well, he can't put my face on Miley
He didn't
Cyrus's
respond
face.
to his last email.
He put I did. I thanked him, but he put my face on the wrecking ball. Yeah. And he wrote taking the ball. Graham taking his ball.
I think you
holding the ball.
You can't just discuss.
You forgot the
trolley
one.
And actually not post it for people to look at.
No, I'm not posting that. I told him, I explained it to him in an email, our email, that it doesn't represent who he is.
I think we hold ourselves to a certain standard.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It's true.
Yeah. I think we're that type of people. We're not willing to swear. We're not willing to use foul language.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We don't condone derogatory language. And speaking of derogatory...
See how he topped me up with that sentence?
I didn't mean to be honest with you.
No,
I just love using that term, derogative language.
Yeah.
I hate it. But anyway, speaking of derogative language, I was driving here.
Yeah.
And once he gets off his phone, because I like to have his undivided attention, and number 3.
You have my undivided attention.
The sparkle in his eye now.
Anyhow, so you're driving here?
Yeah, I'm driving here just now. I'm a very patient guy. But I was put in a position. I don't road rage.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
I was put in a position. I'm turning left on the highway.
Yeah.
And on the opposite side of traffic,
the opposing
side, he's turning right. So it's my way, and it's a green light. So he has to wait for the cars to be empty.
Okay.
I'm like, what am I? I wasn't texting while driving. I'm holding both hands with the steering wheel.
He felt the need to explain that.
I slowed down, and I'm thinking, am I seeing right? The guy that's turning right makes me stop for him, and he's telling me, what's wrong with you? 2 of them in the car. I'm not joking, just now. And I stopped. I just stopped. I let him go through. I'm like, what's wrong with you? And he stopped his car. He's like to me, what's wrong with you?
I think he was just pulling your leg. He did something he shouldn't have.
Either he was
he just went along with it.
Either he was an import and he doesn't
Why
know the road
do you have
rules.
to pull the import card?
Because certain imports, there's no road rules where they come from, and he probably thought it's his way. I gave the benefit of the doubt. I started to talk myself. So that's a long street.
Yeah.
To turn left. I started to self-talk a lot to calm myself down, give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, maybe he's an import. My heart rate was at about maximum heart rate, 199.
That's not your maximum heart rate, let's be honest.
Yeah, 27 minus my age.
Yeah.
Plus 200.
Yeah.
Why'd you go there?
No, minus my age. To calculate heart.
Don't worry about it, man. Just go on. Take the story home.
Minus 27.
Take it home.
What?
200 minus 28, sorry. So not 199.
Are you serious? He's Googling it now?
Yeah, he needs to know his maximum heart rate.
We do not need so much details. I don't care about your heart rate.
No, I'll search it while we're on the show.
Okay, regardless, it's quite upsetting. Apparently, it's set. We won't be traveling until 2021.
Oh man.
I was supposed to go Lebanon now.
I hope it's not towards the end of 2021.
I was actually, I haven't been on a trip overseas in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I was planning that this year I wanted to actually go somewhere. I wanted to plan somewhere or plan a trip somewhere, maybe around Europe, maybe around a place, and spend a few weeks there. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's going to happen.
just before we divulge into this amazing topic that you just brought up,
Please divulge into your heart rate.
at my age, my maximum heart rate is 193. So I think I was pretty spot on.
No, you said 199? That's not spot on.
I took a wild guess.
What wild guess?
199.
Okay, then say you were close.
I was close.
Yeah, not spot on.
Yeah, I agree with Halboni. You can't be spot on
But
if
just
you're...
like on the fly, I said 199 maximum.
It's
heart
like
rate.
me shooting a dart at a dartboard and I get it on the green and I say I was spot on.
Yeah,
I didn't hit the bullseye.
I'll give him credit because that was an amazing analogy. And can you do that clapping thing, please?
Oh, no, it's the wrong one.
Louder.
There we go.
There you go. Speaking of traveling, he was talking about a Europe trip. I premeditated last year at this time to be in Lebanon and do a whole summer little vacation.
You go
there.
down there quite a bit.
Yeah, after 2013, I promised myself that every couple of years
You want to go down there?
I'll try to go there.
Man, I do the same thing with Malaysia. So every couple of years I say to myself, I want to go up to Malaysia.
You know, I've been to Malaysia.
Yeah.
I didn't go to Penang. I went to Malaysia,
Yeah.
but I didn't go to
I've never been
Penang.
to Malaysia before. Where have you been? Where have you travelled?
Yeah, where have you travelled?
Around the world or just to Malaysia?
Malaysia.
No, around the world.
Why are you guys so excited all of
No,
a
it's
sudden?
just-
Because
you know-
we've never spoken about that. Where have you travelled? I
No,
know
it's
where
not.
he's travelled.
No, it's not because we've never spoken about it. It's because I genuinely want to know.
What are you trying to say about me? I genuinely want to know too.
No, your reasoning is flawed. Yeah.
Based on what? That's a fallacy. Is that how you say it?
What would you even try?
That's true. That's how you say it.
He's spot on.
He is.
isn't he? Okay, yeah. So
Anyhow.
where have you travelled?
In total, around the world?
Just what different destinations
I
that
think
you've been?
Malaysia twice. Hopefully a third is coming when they lift the restrictions. Melbourne, for
Why
sure.
you said it like a Melburnian?
Because I was supposed to say Lebanon.
Oh, it sounds like a Melburnian.
No.
You've been to Melbourne?
Yeah, a few times.
Why did you say it with disgust?
I didn't like it.
I love Melbourne.
Oh no!
I only liked it once.
There you go, our Melburnian
Nah,
listeners.
yeah, sorry guys. But winter for the Melbourne guys, their winters are unreal.
I was there in winter.
Yeah.
I went down to Melbourne, and it wasn't in the middle of winter. I think it was at the start or towards the beginning, and it was freezing.
Would you
Yeah.
believe I bumped into
Freezing.
him in the airport?
You
Yeah,
bumped
it's
into
true.
him.
Yeah,
I didn't know that my best mate was in Melbourne.
Yeah.
He hid it for me, and I bumped into him in the
Hid it
airport.
from him.
I didn't hide it from him.
It was a random trip. It
Okay.
went for a short time. But I bumped into him in the airport, and you should have seen the reaction.
You know what was funny?
Did you feel?
I was coming back.
Cut? Were you cut?
I was coming back from Melbourne. He was going to Melbourne.
Oh well, and
That's
you guys
how we
bumped
went.
into.
Yeah.
We're in the airport.
Oh, he was probably hoping that you won't find him.
Uh,
He was like, "Oh, I'm almost there."
the other end, if you look at it and give the benefit of the doubt, he was hoping that we bump into each other and then we can give each other a hug because there was no COVID then.
Yeah. Ahem.
And that's what happened. We actually discussed it there and there.
Yeah, man. But still, I went in the middle of winter a good 5 times or something like that.
Where'd you stay? Any particular
Once
hotel?
in the city, and a few times.
As
I
if you
went.
didn't like the
Where
city.
else did you go? Because Melbourne's boring. I don't want to
maybe
hear
it's
anything
not.
about
Yeah,
Melbourne.
maybe
to be
Melbourne's not
honest with you.
boring.
Maybe the first few times I went to Melbourne was all like business style trips, so they were
Oh.
boring. When the last time I went was for fun,
Social?
recreation.
Recreational. Where'd you go?
That one we stayed in a hotel in the city. That one I had a bit of fun because of the shopping and whatnot.
Was it near the Sofitel?
I don't know, man. I don't think I'm Google Maps.
You know why? Because
Because you stayed at the Sofitel.
yeah, but
He's trying to rub it on my face that, oh, look at me, I was there in a 4-star, 5-star hotel.
this reminds me when he said that he went to Italy. I've been to Italy. Have you been to Italy?
Where else?
No.
Where else have you been?
Where else have I been? Lebanon. I've been Lebanon. I won't go back unless
Yeah,
there's a
but
necessity.
you went to like where you went in Lebanon and the circumstance because I was there.
I went for a necessity back then.
Yeah, and the circumstance of why you were there. I couldn't even tell you to come out with me so we can go out.
Man, honestly, I wouldn't go back again unless there's a necessity. Sorry to all the Lebanon guys. I don't know why people go there. You spend $20,000 on this holiday for like 2 weeks because it's so expensive over there. And
Now it is, yeah, now.
Even before, man.
But
Honestly,
not now. Now the dollar is $10 American.
Now you can't even go. Yeah,
The lira is $10 American.
it's
Currency.
gone nuts.
They're going crazy in Lebanon.
Yeah. Anyhow, but I wouldn't go back unless.
But
there's a
trust me,
necessity.
when you go and you sightsee in Lebanon, it's amazing. I'm telling you, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's about it for me, man. I really like to travel, but
Okay.
I got married early.
Too many responsibilities, eh?
Yeah. Once you get not only that, once you get kids, you don't want to travel.
So
No, you do. You want to take them with you, but you can't be bothered.
Hey, you want to go? You don't want to take them with you.
You want to leave them there.
say, unlike you guys, I just go wherever.
Because you don't have that commitment. You're not tied down.
Pick up and go.
Where have you been? since you can just pick up and go.
Yeah, where?
Where have you been first? Because
I asked you.
I'm just waiting for you to talk about this guy.
He's been everywhere, this guy. Just on his honeymoon, I think he's been everywhere.
No. He went from. Let me talk to you about this guy.
Yeah.
He went from only going with his family when we were young, Lebanon, Australia. That's it. He had never been to Queensland, never to Melbourne, never. Then randomly he reached this age. He comes up to me. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to Cyprus." What? That's all he says.
By yourself? Were you married back
First by himself.
No, I went to Croatia by myself.
Croatia, sorry.
Why Croatia?
I had things to do down
Your
there.
cheese.
Like it's for a necessity. It wasn't.
No,
for
it
a
wasn't
holiday.
necessity. It was sort of a holiday break / learning
No.
experience.
It was
To Croatia?
Yeah. He doesn't finish there.
Why didn't you go to Russia, man?
Oh, I was thinking about it.
It doesn't finish
What's
there.
wrong with you?
He went to Croatia. And that's all he told me. Because he's Mr. Surprises.
Yeah.
He comes back because
Oh, before I come back, you mean?
he goes MIA on me. Then he sends me a random photo of Cyprus and Greece as well.
Yeah, and then I sent him a photo of the Rialto Bridge in
So-
Venice, Italy, and that's when he didn't understand the photo until I told him search it.
He's like, this Croatia's really nice.
My heart rate went to maximum heart rate.
Which at that time
193?
was higher than 193.
One, I would have went with him. And two, it was supposed to be a Croatia trip for certain reasons with a little holiday. Then anyway.
Man, I don't blame him. I don't think he wants to go on a holiday with you.
What? He's dying to go on holiday with me. Ask him.
Look,
Elaborate.
I've been to a few places. Look,
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I've travelled with him before. He's a good travel companion.
That's good. You know, because they say when you travel with someone,
You really meet them.
yeah.
He's a good travel companion, but sometimes he can be difficult.
And
Which
vice
is known
versa.
because even
that's
excuse
only-
me, you just had to throw that. I'm very easy.
No, but we're all difficult in our own ways. We're not perfect. Are you perfect?
No, definitely not.
Are you perfect?
No, of course not.
And I'll be honest with you. With me, my difficulty part, I know what it is. Sometimes I'm stubborn.
Yeah, that's very.
If I
true.
make up my mind about
So
something,
where have you been since you were discussing?
No, we
all
haven't
that-
finished with you though.
Yeah, we haven't.
So
Okay.
what happened after you did your Italy trip? What
Yeah,
made
so
you go back there?
I went to Croatia, and while I was at Croatia, I went to a few places on the way, like a big scenic route.
Yeah.
And on the way to that scenic route, I traveled through Venice, Italy,
Nice.
and I stayed in Italy for a few nights. It was a beautiful, beautiful experience. And the nice thing was, I went there in February, early during the year, and found myself in Venice again at the end of the year
Oh, because
because I loved it so much the first time that I took
you
my
had to
wife
go
on a
back.
honeymoon there.
oh wow.
Yeah. So I chose a destination, and the exciting thing was that the actual place or Venice is small, so you could kind of you can't tour it all, but you can tour like a large part of Venice in 3
Yeah.
days. So when I had gone the first time and built that experience and learned a lot of the things about traveling through, like in Venice, using the gondolas, using the boats, what sort of passes to purchase. The next time I went there, it was absolutely amazing. I knew exactly what things to purchase. I went there with my wife, and I bought this pass because when I first went there, I was purchasing or I was paying for every boat trip.
Yeah.
And it was very expensive, close to like €5 or €6 per trip. So €5 or €6 there, €5 or €6 back. So if I'm in one day, I would probably spend maybe close to 90 or €100
Oh
on
wow.
myself, and that's a lot in Australian
It is.
dollars just for
It's almost
travel.
double.
Yeah, so I said there has to be a cheaper way. And I don't think everyone travels like this. So I find out that there's a 72-hour pass that you can purchase.
Like
For
travel as much as you want.
Yeah, for about €45.
Oh
Yeah, so it was perfect. I went there the next time, purchased
So what made
this
you
72-hour
Venice?
pass.
So you said part of what made you fall in love with Venice is its size, and what else?
Yeah, and the scenery
Scenery.
it's amazing.
Let
I
me-
swear, you get there at night. Because when I got there, I got there at night, and when my wife was with me, she was like, "Is this Venice? What am I looking at? It was nighttime. You can't see anything."
This is Venice or Tripoli.
Yeah, literally,
You didn't want to go to Lebanon at all, do you?
And I was warning her, and I'm telling her at nighttime, it's not like you're not going to see the beauty of it.
Yeah.
And we woke up that next morning,
And boom.
and it
like a
was
slap
a
across the face.
complete different world.
I'll intervene this for a sec. When he sends you a video and he's got his arms out and he's got about 200 birds on him,
Yeah.
so he's like a statue, and there's about 200 live birds on him. That I was about to book my ticket and go there
That's a
in front of a river.
poop
It's an
factory.
amazing river.
It was the Grand Canyon. You know the Grand Canyon in Italy.
Is there Grand Canyon in Italy? I
so
thought
they
it's
call
American.
it the
The
main
Italian one.
the main canal. Sorry, the Grand Canal.
Yeah, that's what
Canyon.
I'm saying. Canyon is
Canal,
is in
the canal.
US.
And look at me, I'm like sticking up for him. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
the Italian one.
Good on him,
Yeah,
mate.
the
Good
the
with
Grand
his
Canal.
words, horrible with his geography.
The Grand, that's a snippet.
Me, for example, that's what I fell in love with Malaysia because for me, a holiday is about food and where you stay and about your food. That's how it is for me. So it's about where you are, your location, your scenery.
I had authentic pasta
Plus-
and pizza. You can't beat that.
Nah, but man, for me, I'm big, massive lover of Asian food. Massive lover. So when
Asian
we go,
food?
Yeah, when we go to Malaysia, you go to Penang or even Langkawi, but Penang specifically, they've got street markets, food markets.
Well, you know what I loved about where I went?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's the same in Malaysia. I've never been, but the nightlife is amazing. So you could stay up
Yeah.
till 2, 3 in the morning,
Same.
and the main areas, the main
Yeah.
hubs, they're all open and serving and packed with people.
Yeah.
Once it hits about 3 a.m., that's when things start to get quiet and people
I feel
start
like
to go
that's
home.
like that with a lot of countries except ours, to be honest.
Except Australia.
Yeah, because if you go to Tripoli, Lebanon, I think there's every shop is open till like 4 o'clock in the morning.
That's right.
And
yeah.
the streets are packed. No one sleeps at 12. But anyhow, so I go to these street markets, the food markets, stores everywhere, man. Authentic Malaysian food. The sauces are unreal. The food's unreal. So cheap. So, like it's unreal cheap. It's amazing. You meet these beautiful people over there. So humble. And you just, again, I would stay there. And in the same stay, for example, with $10 Australian, you would have bought like 3 main meals, 2 desserts, 3 juices.
But hey,
Wow.
that can come back to that can come back to bite you in the ass, because when I went to Malaysia, I was so excited because of what you just said, and then I realized when I came back, I'm like, what happened to my bank account?
But that's why Malaysia, man, because you got to remember.
No, I went to Malaysia. That happened to me in Malaysia.
How'd you manage
Because
that?
Because he found himself spending money and it wasn't costing him much, so he's like he went
he
all
spent
out.
a lot.
Yeah, and I didn't realize.
I'm a millionaire.
Yeah. And you know how, what is it? Not rupees. Is it rupees?
No,
That's in Indonesia.
Ringgit.
Ringgits. Rupees is Indonesia, I think. Yeah.
Rupees is Indian, I believe.
Rupees is Indian. Ringgits.
I know rupees is Indian. I don't know if it's Indonesian as well. It might be Indonesian also, but
You know what I
Indian
really
rupee, yeah, that's
enjoyed
right.
my stay? Turkey. Absolutely
everyone,
stunning.
everyone
I
says
haven't been
that.
to Turkey.
Stunning,
I wanna-
amazing experience.
Last time I went to Lebanon, I went to the travel agent. I almost booked it to Turkey, but because I was by myself, I'm like, if I call my wife and tell her, "Hey, sweetie, I'm going to Turkey," she's like, "By yourself?"
She won't be happy about
So
that.
I'm
I
like,
guess.
nah, I'll save
I was
that.
supposed to go Turkey last year. I planned. I didn't book it. I was very close to booking it to Turkey and Italy. I was going to do the whole Turkey-Italy trip and Cyprus, but it didn't come to fruition.
Far out. Just quickly, rupees, 1 Australian, so 0.019 Australian dollar is 1 rupee.
Wow.
That's a whole lot of rupees for $1,
You know,
man.
there's people, Indonesia, it's called rupiah. Rupee as well.
Indonesia, eh?
Indonesian rupiah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
man.
rupee is double A in India,
Yeah.
and in Indonesia it's with an I.
Yeah, so for me, for example, back then it was like, so for 1,000 Australian, even now, for 1,000 Australian, you get 3,000 Malaysian ringgit.
Or look at this.
Wow.
This is
man.
why I loved Indonesia as well.
It's a good time to go to Indonesia, man.
For $10 Australian, you get 1 million. Is it 1 million? Rupees or 100,000 rupees.
And then Indonesia, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, you asked me where have I traveled?
Yeah.
I actually love to sightsee in Australia. I've traveled abroad, but in particular, before we go into abroad, I loved Noosa. Have you been to Noosa?
No.
Noosa is in the Sunshine Coast in Queensland.
Australia is beautiful.
And the
Australia
beaches
is
in Noosa.
gorgeous, man.
You know, if you want to travel to one beach a day in Australia, it'll probably take you 3 years.
That's what I did in Noosa.
The
You
sights,
travelled one beach every day?
Yeah, so for a period of time in Noosa, it's a capital, I think, of the Sunshine Coast or the city of the Sunshine Coast, the most famous one. Around it, there's Maroochydore, there's Peregian Springs. Around it, there's about 6 different beaches. So it's like going to Bronte, Coogee. But the difference between there and here, they're completely opposite beaches. So one beach in Maroochydore, the waves are huge. It'll smash you. You go to Noosa, it's like so calm. And
But we have that here in Sydney.
yeah, but the quality of the water, to me, when I went there, was just
To you.
amazing. That's in the Sunshine Coast. Would you believe it or not?
Go, tell me.
Everyone wouldn't believe that I did this in Melbourne. Their beaches there, wow. I know you're surprised. Wow.
But I'm not surprised because everywhere around Australia has amazing
Yeah, but
beaches.
people have this preconceived idea about Melbourne that it's just shopping and city.
No, but they have plenty of scenic routes, plenty of scenic spaces or places for you to go and look at.
Have you heard of the Great Ocean Road?
Yes, I have. Because you've told me about it multiple times because you've been on it.
Yeah.
Man, last week I went somewhere, 2-hour drive from here. Exactly 2 hours. So it's sort of Dural. You know where Dural is? The
Yeah.
farms?
Yeah.
You go past Dural for like an hour almost. You end up in somewhere called, what's called Barara Waters.
Barara, yeah.
What a sight.
Isn't there a waterfall there?
I just saw
There's a waterfall there.
the rivers. I saw the mountains, and it's all these expensive farms with expensive horses. What a
Wow.
sight! Yeah, man, it's a worth the drive.
I
2-hour drive, worth it.
There's a waterfall there. Barara waterfall.
Why, have you been there?
No, but I've got on my notes a list of 10 waterfalls that I'll be visiting in summer.
You know, with
Why are you laughing for?
You know, I'm laughing because last week I thought to myself to tell my wife to research waterfalls that are within a 4-hour drive.
But didn't you say how he looked at me when I said, yeah, there's a waterfall there? He thought I was just, going with it. But I actually have that. I'm familiar with it. I haven't been there.
But you want to be.
Absolutely. I love to sightsee. Do you know there's a place in the Blue Mountains? I did not know that exists. And don't be surprised if the next couple of weeks you just see me there.
Won't be
It's
surprised.
called the
We're used to
Enchanted
your-
Caves.
The what?
The Enchanted Caves.
Enchanted?
Search it. Pull it up. and
So
you'll
what's
be-
so enchanting about the caves? Honestly, what is it?
It's glass.
Show
all
us
over.
some photos, please.
Enchanted Caves. Do you know what's
You know
funny?
what-
Those listening to this podcast, I think they're going to be searching it on their phones.
While
Yeah.
he's trying to bring it up.
Oh wow! You
were,
can rent like rooms that are inside a mountain.
were you ever worried about your travel experiences, or were you ever worried when you went to travel about, what to do in new places,
I was.
how to ensure that you and the people that you were traveling with is very safe, or
I did, man. The first time around, I think, was because I hadn't traveled internationally. That is, by myself without my parents. Then when I got married, I had to do the honeymoon. I was so excited, by the way. You know how I booked my wedding? So we didn't book the wedding. I just went up to the travel agent. I get him booked me a honeymoon. He goes, "When's your wedding?" I booked the honeymoon and I work around that. He goes, "Are you serious?" So we did the honeymoon first. I don't care about the wedding, man. Anyhow, so we booked
I
the.
hope your wife's not going to listen to that snippet.
No, she knows. That's what we did. Because she was so uncomfortable. She goes, "Who does that?" She goes, "Who books a honeymoon?" She goes, "What if you can't get a whore in that time?"
oh no, but you were able to.
Yeah, I was. I didn't care, man. I just wanted to enjoy myself. But then, like you said, I was a bit worried. So I started trying to do that travel insurance. And for you guys that haven't tried using travel insurance, most of the time they don't pay up.
Well, it's not about paying up. It's about more. Okay, where are you going? What are the rules there? What are the laws?
Yeah.
There are some people that have gone to countries and they have been hung for laws they didn't know about, or
for sure.
they didn't know the extent of their actions in that country. And on top of that, there are places that you visit when you go overseas. You don't know how safe those places are. So I've been in certain streets in Turkey where you think it's all safe until I was told by a local to be careful around these certain streets because there are people
But the
that
biggest
might do
tip is
something.
the biggest tip is my wife taught me this, and we learned this not long ago. Somewhere it's called smarttraveler.gov.au.
Yeah, the government sponsored.
Yeah, so you put in where you're traveling, and it tells you everything that you should be wary of, which you be aware of.
Wow.
Information is
And they
accessible
update.
online.
They update consistently.
Yeah, it's amazing. And not only that, so you register your passport with them, and they know where you're traveling. So in case you need help, the embassy
find
knows
you.
where you are.
It's a good way to
that's
track
amazing.
you. It's a good way to
Yeah,
track you as well.
That's very
from now
smart.
on, whenever you travel overseas, you should register.
What's it called again?
smarttraveler.gov.au.
Smarttraveler.gov.
Yeah.
Speaking of what he said regarding the safety, I take caution to the wind personally and just travel. I've never did travel insurance
Yeah, but
before.
when
thank
you're
God.
when you're by yourself, it's different to being with someone because you have to
Cater for them.
cater for them.
Yeah, I know.
And not only that, you got to remember, for example, in Lebanon, I traveled and I got to Lebanon and I went in.
Well,
But then I walked in because I'm a Lebanese citizen. I walked in with a Lebanese passport. Walking back out, I didn't have my passport. They wouldn't let me out. I didn't know that there's a law. I almost got stuck in the
I
airport.
bet you had some relative who was connected.
No, I had one of my friends. Luckily, he was awake. He found me my Lebanese paperwork. Otherwise, the guy literally told me, I get him, can I go backwards out of the airport? He goes, no. I get him, can I go forwards? He goes, no. I was literally stuck in, what do they call it, the duty-free area?
Yeah.
He goes, I go, what do you mean? Because you've passed the security area. I didn't know that. If I walked in with a Lebanese ID, I'd have to walk out backwards.
With it. That's right.
I thought I can walk out with the Australian
Yeah,
ID.
that was so funny.
But I didn't know. No one told me that, man.
Speaking of those experiences, I had one happen to me in Lebanon and one happened in Indonesia. I was in Jakarta
Yeah.
and like what he said, I felt everything was safe and rosy and the locals, one of them spoke fluent Arabic. Imagine this Indonesian.
Yeah,
And
and
he
even
spoke-
Malaysians will found something like that.
Formal Arabic.
Yeah.
Then he spoke, I told him, do you know how to speak informal Arabic? He started speaking the Barudi accent
Yeah.
because he lived there for years. He said, Wahad. And we recorded, it was so funny. But anyway, and then he says, be careful, this area is not as safe as you think it is. This guy, for some reason, he wanted to pick on me. He drives on the motorcycle. He starts doing U-turns around us.
Are you serious?
And then he just looks at me. He does the hand of the throat gesture.
Did you run him over with the car?
I'm walking. I'm going for a walk.
The little Indonesian guy.
Yeah.
Just
And
shove him over.
As he does that,
Just shove
he
him off
puts
the scooter.
that action, the gun action, and
Yeah.
goes, pow, 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 like that.
What does he do? What does he do?
Pow, pow. And he's smiling, little Indonesian guy.
This guy's probably playing a joke on you,
No,
trying
no,
to
no,
scare
no.
you.
I
you
spoke to the guy that's with us. We had a local with us.
Yeah.
He said, these guys, some of them, gangsters, but you can't tell they're gangsters because they're not the gangsters that we see here.
Yeah,
That are real gangsters.
Yeah.
They don't look like
Are they
gangsters.
fake gangsters over there?
No, no, it's just little Indonesian midget.
Come on, man.
No, this guy.
There goes the Indonesian listeners. There goes the German listeners. I think we'll call it quits. Stop
There
this.
goes the Melburnian.
Hey, this guy in particular, he said that some of them are that poor, they get involved with that. Someone will pay him $5 or $10 and they'll do anything for it.
Just give him $5. Tell him.
I told him I would have given him $10. Get out of here. The Lebanon experience was scary. The 2013 one. That was scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're in a different situation.
No, but that was just amazing. That experience. The randomly, and it doesn't happen anymore. A civil war was about to erupt.
Do you remember?
What do you mean it doesn't happen anymore? It's the loosest country in the world.
Before he continues, you know what I just remembered, so I don't forget. You know how he had the guy around the motorbike and he did this sound, and he goes, "Pow pow pow pow." What about your experience when
That's
you
the name of podcast tour.
Pow 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 pow. What about when you were in Liverpool on the street and driving, and that guy with a machete popped up in front of you?
I don't remember that.
Do you remember?
No, there's two things happened to me.
Yeah, there was with the knife. Or I don't know if it was a machete or a big knife.
Oh,
This guy's had
Do you think I'm
I've had worse happen to us.
I had two more worse things happen to me.
Far out.
I'm in Liverpool,
this guy, and I'm on the phone with him.
and this loose cannon with a mullet or
Yeah.
tat, he's running the streets and it's red light with a huge machete and screaming.
Yeah,
Then I seen the same guy at the gym.
Same guy.
Yeah, so I asked about him and they said he's known. He's in and out of jail.
Tell him what he
It's
did to
crazy.
you, and how you called the police when you were in the car.
He started waving the machete at me, and I'm in my car. And I'm not going to be all staunch and tell you that I was going to get out of the car and prepared to face
No
him.
chance.
No way.
He's got a machete.
Another experience.
But you called the police?
Yeah.
He didn't mention that. He called the police and told them there's a guy with a machete in front of me. I'm in the car. And he goes, I don't want to run him over.
Let's not go there. The other one was a certain kind of, I'm not a race. I don't want to be racial profiling here.
Get rid of all our listeners.
I've had an incident with an Asian guy too, man.
No joke. I'm not lying. My brother's in his old fast car and he's ramming up his ass because of something that happened. I told him, just let it go. The guy casually parks on the side of the street, kicks his door open and flashes something that has 2 heads on it.
A little sawed-off shotgun.
You know what my brother did? Man, we were gone.
Listen,
What's up with you and the sound effects today?
And there was one more, but I'll say it
Are you
later.
applying for Disney?
What's the last one?
The last one's too funny.
Let me tell you this before we
Yeah.
tell us last one. I used to, when we were 18 years old, around 17, 18, we used to, every Saturday, Friday night, you know how it is, the boys get together, you get your cars, because everyone loved their cars back then. It was the car scene, and we just drive up to the city, drive up to
Too
Wollongong.
fast, too furious.
We went up to the city. On the way back from the city, we were too fast, too furious, and back down the Hume Highway.
Yeah.
We had just left the city, so on the Hume Highway, I think that's where we were. There was an Asian couple. It's an Asian guy full of tats, man. Just a little short, tiny guy.
You don't mess with them.
Yeah, he's full on going at it. He's kissing his girlfriend or whatever it is in public. But man, they're going at it. We stopped next to them. I don't know, my friend wanted to be smartass. He pulls his head out the window. He goes, "Get a room."
Oh, the old gay room.
And we stayed there. We thought, he's not going to mess with us. There's like 15 of us. He opens the boot. He runs to the car, opens the boot. Pulls out like a 9mm or something like that, like a full gun.
Around.
He pulls it out, points it at us. We go,
Oh,
oh,
no.
shit. Oh, man. Everyone starts flying.
That was like
Everyone copped the red camera that day.
the
All because we said get a room.
9mm a handgun, eh?
Yeah, 9mm.
Speaking of handgun,
Haven't you heard him in all the raps?
yeah, not really. But now that you say it,
Does he listen to rap music? Or he strikes me as the person that goes home and listens to the classic.
Love music?
No, classic music.
Oh, Michael Bublé.
With a cigar and apple juice.
speaking of the 9mm,
Yeah.
imagine during broad daylight.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to say the area because there's already a preconceived idea about the area. Broad daylight.
Cabramatta.
No, not the camera.
Oh, we're over with the Asians. It's finished.
He's my kind.
Oh, he's your kind.
Yeah.
Bankstown?
Yes.
Alright.
Meredith Street. I'm turning left. I couldn't go left. The phone was on my ear.
Yeah.
Very important conversation. I couldn't go left because there was an old lady crossing
Why did
the
you
road.
have to say that? Yeah.
Oh, you'll
anyway.
see why. An old lady crossing the road.
Yeah.
The guy behind me is just beeping. And I'm telling him, like, I'm pointing to the mirror saying, like, 1 minute, there's a lady. Like that. By the time she crosses the road,
Oh, she's crossing in front of you.
yeah, he wants me to go before she
Run
gets
her
to
over.
outside. Yeah.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Anyway, he pulls up next to me, boldy bloke, and the windows are up. I'm on the phone and I'm looking at him. He is going off.
Yeah.
He is losing the plot. I can't hear him, but he looks like he's going to jump out of the mirror and bite my head off. And me, I'm still in that patient mood.
So what you do, you act calm to annoy him even more.
I didn't do it intendedly. I'm like to him, calm, like 1 second, just give me a sec. I'm just on the phone. It was an important phone
He
call.
probably thought you'd given him a finger.
No, I was doing this.
But he thought, from looking back at you, he thought, this guy's pissed off at me. He's
No,
giving me
but
the
when he
finger.
came next to him,
Side
he
by
did the
side.
same thing as
I'm
well.
just doing I'm like 1 sec, I'm just on the phone. Give me a sec.
Yeah.
You know what happened to him? His neck was about to come out of his shirt. He got even more angry.
His neck was out of his shirt, I'm assuming.
I don't know. No, but
It would be
like,
weird
as in,
if his
sorry,
neck was
out of
inside
his body.
shirt. Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I was even more calm. I don't know why. I told him just 1 sec, okay? Like that. He goes, speeds off. I thought he sped off into the sunset. I don't know why. I put my mind into his mind. I just wanted to have a word with him.
Yeah.
He pulls up at the petrol station. So what did I do? I slowed down
Yeah.
as he's getting out of his car and I put my window down. I pulled up right next to him on the street. He gets out of the car, takes out the 9mm out of the car, no joke, puts it in his front like the movies and stands just like that.
He's a staunch. He wouldn't have used that, I'm telling you.
That's what.
But still, the scene is
Yeah.
But the scene.
not easy to see,
Nah,
man.
he's
The
what a
scene
staunch. He's
was-
not going to use it in broad daylight.
I'm not familiar with that, but what you said,
Yeah.
I will get to that point. It's so true.
Full of shit.
The
this
scene,
guy.
though,
Yeah.
the phone was on the ground.
No, longer important.
Phone call was not important.
My jaw was dropped. I was like, I went to talk.
He wanted to give the.
You and the finger. Stop pointing your finger at
My
people.
car, I flat foot it and go. I called.
I hope you still had that finger out the window.
I was about to talk.
1 second, dude.
I went to tell him, brother, you know, you're from my kind, calm down, it's not worth it. I just flat-footed and went. Then I called my brother, Saviour. He said what you said. He used to work at this shop. He told him, tell him to come to the shop. He won't use it. Like, look, that you just don't know what they're on.
No, because and not only that, sometimes people are unpredictable.
Yes.
Like, sometimes what do they say? If you have it and you just the situation happens, you might use it out of stupidity. I had a story, man. This is a true story. A guy rings me up around 2 months ago. He goes, I need the side, so they call it a quarter window. So that's the last windscreen that on a tiny car. But he had a Toyota Starlet. 2-door Starlet. So there's only one door.
The 99 model?
Listen to this. One door on either side. Then right behind the door is the quarter window. So the quarter window is for the passengers at the back. It's on a Starlet, it's a bit bigger than that. So basically, it's directly the window behind the driver door. He calls me, he goes, I need it replaced. I get there, he goes, urgently. I get there, this Indian bloke. He gets the screen for me. I started cleaning. As I'm cleaning, I noticed that this screen is broken in a certain way. And that this plastics have like shrapnel in it, or whatever you call it. I'm like, damn, what happened to the car? He goes, I got shot at. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah. I go, what do you mean he got shot at? He goes, he was turning the roundabout, and I'm not going to say Indians are bad drivers. I'm not going to go there. But for some reason, the people behind him didn't like his style of driving.
Oh, no.
And there were these 2 girls, and they kept beeping at him. 2 girls, beeping at him. He goes to me, I made the mistake. He goes, I opened the window, and I stuck my finger up at him. He gave him the middle finger.
Oh, no.
So these 2 girls cut the roundabout. So they jumped onto the roundabout. They blocked him off. And, man, they pulled out the gun and they shot at him.
2 girls?
2 girls, man. They shot at him.
No, he's making it up.
Bro, I pulled him out personally.
He's probably 2 guys, and
He said, what would you say, girls?
I don't know.
I'd feel embarrassed saying
Maybe
2 girls.
they had a guy in the back seat.
I don't know. Point is, they intended to get him. They shot at the driver door windscreen, the driver door screen, sorry. However, but he punched it just in time, had just missed it and hit the edge of the quarter panel.
Like what you said, it's very unpredictable.
Scary.
All because he gave him the finger. But like you said,
But
you don't know what they're
your
on.
finger.
No, that was the middle finger.
The reason I knew he's from my kind, so I just wanted to tell him, brother, it's not worth it.
1 minute, mate. 1 minute.
Has to start with brother,
I told
doesn't
him,
it?
yeah, because it was, the whole brother talk. I wanted to tell him, brother, it's not worth it. You did all that just to fill up petrol 1 minute earlier,
Yeah.
and then he pulls out this 9mm. He puts it.
What
in his
advice
front.
did you have for him after seeing the 9mm?
Well, when I called my brother, he's like to me, he was screaming at me. He lost the plot. He's like, go back there and let him follow you to the shop.
Go back and tell him, follow me. Give him,
And
show him your index finger again, and let him follow you.
Because there's all cameras there. He's like, we'll see if he's going to use it there. I told him no, just let it go.
But again, saying that, man, there are people that are just loose cannons.
Well, that's why this incident
Loose
here,
cannons.
it caused me to think, should I, like, the part of me was like, let me
Do I need another gun?
No.
Pull that on me. That's what I was thinking.
Let him have it. He can take the
Do I
way.
really need another weapon experience?
Part of me, I wanted to put my head out of the window while I'm driving and scream out, it's my way. It's not your way.
But
You know what's
me,
funny?
yeah.
I've thankfully, I've never had any of those experiences. Even
you
though
drive a lot.
Even if you do, man, it's never worth it.
you say you drive a lot.
Yeah, you drive a lot.
What's that got to do with anything?
Like you
all your
more likely-
experiences were on the road.
You're more likely to have these experiences than
Yeah.
others that are stuck
But it's-
between the office,
honestly,
like literally 9 to 5.
The more I get,
That was a nice save.
It's true. That's what I meant.
the more I understand things in life. So, for example, when I was young and single, if someone even went up my, as they say, your ass in the car,
Your alley.
I'd pull over to the side. I'm waiting for this guy to get out of the car. That's how I was. I'd literally pull over to the side. Even one guy, I wanted him to get out. I was so adamant about it. I pulled my window down. I go,
You just remind
pull
me of a
over.
story.
I got him.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but anyhow, now I got married and I started. Man, things became more scary because I had responsibilities.
Yeah.
So even, for example, riding my motorcycle, when my first child was born, I got a motorcycle. I started riding it. I actually got scared. I was never ever scared to ride a motorcycle. But when my first child was born, I started thinking about things. I'm like,
You put them into perspective.
man, if I come off this thing and break my arm minimum, it's gonna be real damage for my family. Then, yeah, so
Kids,
like that.
kids really
So now
do take you
people-
back.
Even
honestly.
people swear at me on the road. People
just let it go.
I go, whatever, man. Let them have it.
You
Your way, my way. I don't care. Just do it. Just
You
get out of
reminded
there.
me of a story. where you put him in your head. There's two people that were one of them is very fiery, the other one's very calm. They were young, they had just got their license. Same scenario. A guy's
Is
up
it
there.
me and you?
No.
Me being the calm one, you being very fiery.
I used to be very
at
fiery.
your younger age.
Yeah. One of them, he put him in his head. They followed him. They were young, skinny, just got their license. They kept following the guy. Then they cornered him.
Yeah.
They both get out of the car and they intend to, cause physical an altercation. They look at the guy in the car. He's that big.
They got stuff.
He's that jacked. His seatbelt can't even fit him.
Oh no!
Snap.
So the guy is just looking at him, smiling. He takes off his seatbelt. They sprinted to the car and drove off, and the guy was laughing. He was jacked.
Man,
Absolutely jacked.
Man, I'll never forget. Once we were driving on the way to Wollongong in that 110 zone. You've left the Sydney part. This guy's after his usual. That's cream. Do your business, man. Do your business. So when he was driving down to Melbourne 110 zone, this guy's flying up our ass. Flying. It's 110. I'm pretty sure my mate was driving. He was already speeding as it is. So my mate, he wants to get back at him. He did something so stupid, man. We were drinking V bottles. He opens up the sunroof.
Oh no!
He throws that out of the sunroof.
Oh no!
And because of the speed, the bottle just goes flying straight onto his car.
Oh no!
Yeah, they threw like 3 bottles at him.
Oh no!
I felt
Okay.
so bad. I didn't do. I was just in the driver's seat. I'm like, oh, that's horrible.
Why didn't you slow down? Pull over. Stop them.
I was in the passenger. Sorry, I was in the
Oh,
passenger.
passenger.
Yeah. My mate was doing all that stuff in the drive. I'm thinking sometimes that's so stupid. So that was young and foolish.
Imagine he did the same thing to you. You would have been very upset.
But can you imagine they harmed
What
the
other
person?
harm they could have done? What if they missed the car, hit another car, caused an accident?
Man, at least you hit his windshield. The car, the glass shattered, went through him.
And you know what? The decisions you make in your life are ones that can affect you in the near and the long future.
For sure, man.
And sometimes you need to look past the issue and see or have a vision about how this may affect your future. And if you can't maybe assume, or if you don't see any problem with what you're doing, maybe stop and think about it.
You need to think about the repercussions for your actions.
The bad thing is...
It's not just thinking about the repercussions of your actions. It's about taking responsibility.
But the thing is, and hopefully maybe we'll get through to the youth somehow or another. This message is more towards the 18, the 19, the 20-year-olds. Because I feel like that age when the testosterone is real high...
They're more prone to be risk takers.
Yeah, because now I'm 30 years old. I don't care. If even someone swears at me while I'm walking, swear all you want, I don't care.
You know what? We have been through that age. We do know how it feels. We have been through that time where we just want to drive and go to the beach, go to the city, go out with friends. We've been there. We've done it. We had our fun, and we learn. Everyone needs to go through certain experiences to learn in life, but there are some experiences you don't need to go through them to learn. There should be a big red flag that hits you in the face. Drugs and things like that. People
peer
need to
be. Some people are easily driven. Peer pressure.
A lot of substance abuse is related to peer pressure.
Yeah.
A lot.
I mean, look, going back to traveling, you look at Bali. Man, people go to Bali basically to get drunk and get high and do prostitution, all these horrible things. They go there for that purpose. They go. It's cheap and I can do all of that. So unfortunately, some people
aren't there very strict laws there?
There are, but there aren't as many enforcement. I don't know. And
wasn't someone in
in
Bali hung because of
there's people hung. There's people
hung
that got
because they tried to smuggle cocaine.
I don't know about usage, but smuggling. Yeah, they take it as you get hung for it.
Usage should be up there somewhere.
Speaking of risk-taking behaviour, it brings me to this point where there's a misconception with a lot of parents out there that all risk-taking behaviours are deemed unhealthy. There are healthy risk-taking behaviours.
Please share them with us.
Yeah, I know.
We'll share the unhealthy risk-taking. What would you say are the unhealthy risk-taking behaviours?
All the bad stuff.
Yeah, like what?
we just had a whole topic about
drug addiction,
bad friends,
driving.
But risk-taking behaviours could be.
It's a part of a child's development.
One of two things, where someone understands the risk, and he pulls through with the action, and someone that doesn't understand the risk but still does the action. So they don't know what they're expecting on the other side. And sometimes where you don't know what you're expecting on the other side, that might just be a milestone that someone's trying to achieve. But when you, for example, someone knows that if I take drugs, I'm going to be in such and such state, I might overdose, I might die. But yet they still take that action. Whereas, for example, someone might make a business decision and take a risk, but they don't know what the outcome may be.
Because I guess the business decision you hope for of a positive, but the other one there is no hope of a positive down the road.
Definitely, of course.
Well,
There's no positives behind
That
drugs.
goes to making healthy decisions.
Yeah.
So when you're involved in a risk-taking behavior, making sure that you make a healthy, informed decision.
Wow, this podcast took a turn.
It always does. But
It's gone up and down. It's all over the shop tonight.
a healthy risk-taking behavior can be like a roller coaster
Okay, here we go.
for an adolescent.
Here we go.
A roller coaster.
Yeah, someone who has an adrenaline thrill.
I hate them things, man.
Yeah, but to those who like to seek that adrenaline rush, they might go paragliding. They might go skydiving. That's a risk-taking behavior.
There's risk in almost all sorts of sports and
some things
activities.
like that. I just no. It's a big no. I would never let my child go on a roller coaster.
But,
Sorry.
it's
Why?
still a
It's a
risk-taking behavior.
man-made machine that has. There's a
So
fault.
a car is a man-made machine.
100%. But I feel like it's unnecessary. A car is necessary to go from point A to point B so you can live your life, especially in
What
Australia.
about a plane?
And again,
That's a risk-taking behavior.
Of course. But again, a plane you're getting from point A to point B either for a
Roller
leave-
coaster takes you to point A to point B.
No,
Technically,
from point A to point A.
He's
Back to the same
preparing-
point.
from point to point.
He's preparing
But
you for your child,
But
to tell you the same things.
I wouldn't, man. Honestly, I grew up my entire life. My sister was the type. She wants to try everything. Jump out of. She
always
jumped out
that
of
one
airplanes. She
Oh
jumped.
no!
Yeah, my sister's a nutcase. She's an absolute nutcase.
Does
Sorry
she
if
listen
you're
to the show?
listening.
I'll make sure she does. Yeah, she's not scared of men. I haven't seen anything in this life that scares that lady.
Wow.
Yeah, but me, I'm the complete other extreme. We used to go to Dreamworld. I'm not kidding. I would go on the water rides that just go.
You know who's like you? This guy.
No, not to that extent.
Yeah,
Not
No.
exactly, but when we went to, where did we go? I think it was Wet and Wild.
yeah.
No, we went to the Superman, that one, Dreamworld.
No, we didn't. We went to Wet and Wild in,
We went to the
In
Superman
Sydney.
together.
and he was not feeling it
Yeah.
on the day apparently,
Oh, okay.
and he refused to go on any of
No,
the
no,
big
I
rides.
refused to go on
It's
the
okay to
biggest one
admit it.
there.
There's no shame.
No, no,
He
the
refused
biggest
to
one
go.
there.
No, because he's saying it as if he would he'd climb a mountain if he needs
I
to.
wouldn't enjoy it. I wouldn't go there, and I wouldn't enjoy. So I feel like I'd rather spend my money
see,
somewhere I enjoy.
to me-
I don't feel like risk is enjoyable for me.
But to me, that was a risk-taking behavior. Why should I go on the biggest drop there?
Yeah.
And you know how the
I go
thing
on the
beneath
kids'
you
rides in
opens?
Little World.
I did that and I got bored and I went back to them. I went on the kids one. I got so bored I ran back to them.
You know what's awesome?
And I
when
tried it.
You know what's awesome when you get kids? You have a reason.
Oh, to do
be
it.
So
there.
you go, oh, I'm just going there because I have to take
No,
my
no,
son.
you-
there.
no,
And you have a reason not to do the bigger ones.
You'll see me on the Dodgem cars
I'm
without
not
the
scared.
kids. I'll be on
You
the
know-
Dodgem cars without the kids.
You know, I used
Dodgem
to.
cars?
Yeah, I love the
I
Dodgem
used
cars.
to like maybe not discuss it, but have a dialogue with myself about whether or not I would go paragliding or jump out of an airplane skydiving.
Would you do skydiving?
In my younger years, I
You
was
would've.
adamant
He was. Yeah.
that I would.
Now, as a dad,
Now, as a dad, I feel like I would still do it if the opportunity presents itself, but I wouldn't go and apply for it myself.
yeah.
So I wouldn't go and buy the ticket myself.
So
If
let's say someone gave you a gift voucher, you would use it up for that.
No, if someone gave me a gift and it was a voucher to go and
Yeah.
skydive, will be very, very inclined to go and do it.
Don't be surprised if
But-
I get him the gift voucher next week.
I'll be very inclined to go do it. I would.
He
But
climbed
just
the harbour bridge.
thinking,
You know
but
what?
climbing
But
the harbour bridge isn't scary.
we
Yeah, but
did,
you
we
at
did
the top of the
risky
harbour
things
bridge.
as young people. We did but that was with cars when I thought I had control.
That was your passion, though.
Yeah, but man, we did some. Man, I'm not kidding. Back then, I don't want to mention what car, who's driving, what or not. Hume Highway, Liverpool. We got up to around 260 kilometers an
Wow.
hour.
Wow.
In a WRX,
You,
and
it's
yeah,
upsetting, but
You know that's scary
we
because
always
back-
look back
Yeah.
at our past and say, man, how did we sit down and do that?
I was
but
against
you
that
thought
stuff.
you had control. See, I'm against it now highly, but I don't think I grew out of the phase of cars. I'm in love with machines that go fast, and
What about roller
hence
coasters?
my motorbike. See, that's the thing. I love motorbikes. I'll fly on a motorbike, but roller coaster, I feel like I don't have control.
I think you watch too many movies.
You know what it is? I'm that guy that sits in the passenger seat and hates and feels like I over calculate things. This guy's not braking. He should be braking. Why isn't he braking?
with the car issue,
You're the worst passenger in the world.
passenger.
You're the worst car passenger in the
Why?
world. Why? Is
I
he
agree.
seriously asking
I
why?
agree.
Why? Everywhere we want to go, first off, you have this fight and you chuck a tantrum about you not wanting to be passenger. You want to take your own car.
But why?
Then after we get in the car, you
No,
sit
no,
there.
no. Why though? Why do I do that for?
Look,
Just so the
I'll
listeners
tell you.
know.
I'll tell you why.
It's true what you're
Because
saying, but why?
he wants to feel like he's always in control.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
He
why?
wants to feel like he makes the decisions. He's trying.
He's turning when he wants to turn.
Yeah, he's
No, other than
he's
that- no,
putting
no, no.
that blinker on when he wants. To
You
put that
guys
blinker
are
on.
portraying an incorrect image of
You
me.
know, he's
Okay.
Why?
it's
Answer
either
my
his
question.
it's either his way or it's not happening. That's
But
what
why?
he
Or
wants.
literally
some-
the highway.
Yeah,
Can
no,
some-
but I'll tell you why. Really,
Tell him
why?
why, please.
It's just that he doesn't want to be tied down. Wants to be able to leave whenever he wants, but you
That's
can't because passengers. You have to take them with you.
Yeah.
No,
But
no,
You
but-
know what? I agree with him when it comes to you guys. I didn't feel like that with people, but when I come out with you guys, it's like, oh, let's go out. We'll come back at 8 o'clock. 12 o'clock, like, guys, I want to go home. Oh, just 5 more minutes.
And that's
True, it
why.
does happen a lot with us.
And that's why I always choose to take my own car. If we're going in the group, like
No,
I
that
had a
wasn't the
friend-
question though.
What?
It wasn't about taking your own car. It was being the driver.
Yeah, I have to be the driver.
No, but
But
You
even
still
as a
have
passenger,
passengers.
you're the type that complains.
Yeah, because I'm.
Yeah, he
I,
does.
I,
He gets in the
Oh.
car. Have you got a phone charger? Have you got this?
Oh,
Why aren't you doing
no.
this? Have you got
yeah,
You know why? Because
stop here. Take me here.
I love being the person that's driving to the destination.
You
I
love
don't-
being in control.
No, I love being the person that's driving to the
Especially-
destination because I
Especially when
have
he
the
had his
comfort.
ute. When
Yeah.
he had his ute, there was
No,
no
when
such
he had
thing.
his ute,
He didn't want to be a
it
passenger.
was his worst nightmare when I would force him into the passenger
Yeah,
seat
I
and I would
remember.
drive. It was his absolute,
I remember.
like it was his nightmare. It was his bad day. I would ruin his day by doing
Because
that.
I had a habit where after I drive I jump into my ute, I've got my charger,
He's got his charger.
I've got my
his coffee.
my coffee, I've got my driver's
He's got
seat.
his extra chewing gum packet
His,
on the
his
side.
essentials.
Yeah, he's got his
Driving
driving
essentials.
essentials.
That's right. And then when I'm stripped from that,
You feel empty.
I feel like I'm not in my comfort zone, and
Does it make you? How does it make you feel
I just
emotionally?
I feel very distorted.
Do you feel
distraught.
bare,
Yeah,
exposed?
I literally feel like when I get to the destination and my
Do you
old
feel
ute,
insecure?
no, when my old ute is not with me, I feel like if I want to leave, if I want to, sometimes we'd go to a place, everyone would go home,
Yeah.
and I'd go for a 40-minute drive.
It's true.
Yeah,
in my
It's
ute.
true.
No, I get you're that.
And I used
You're
to
a
hate-
spontaneous.
I hate
person.
when
I'm
Very
a person.
habitual and spontaneous.
I used to hate when he does
How
that,
can
and
you
I'm
be
with him,
habitual?
and I need to go
Hang on,
home.
how can you be habitual and spontaneous?
I'll
at the
tell
same
you
time?
Yeah,
how.
you can. You can.
You want me to tell
No,
you
no,
how?
you can
I'll tell you how.
because spontaneity
Spontaneous-
can be
spontaneously
habitual. Yeah.
So he's spontaneously habitual. So he would do habits.
No, his habits are being
Randomly.
spontaneous.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, so-
I'm trying to wrap my brain
I'll
around
explain it to you.
because the listeners are listening too.
Oh,
man.
He's just very happy we saved him with that.
No, it's not. It's true.
Yeah. So you do your usual habits, but spontaneously.
So obviously I have
That's
habits.
what I understood.
But I'll do a spontaneous thing, and then it becomes a habit.
Bro, that's not how it works.
Yes, it does to me. It does.
If you do something repetitively, that's a habit.
Oh
But what if I do something that's completely spontaneous for the
And
first
then
time,
it becomes a
and-
habit.
and
That's
then it becomes a habit?
but that's normal.
But it's not a habit to start. You
Yeah,
said
but I'll tell you how. I'll get an example. Can I finish?
Okay, I apologize.
The
Busted
example
his
would
chops.
be-
Sorry, dude.
We went to the destination in my car.
Yeah.
He wanted to leave.
Yeah.
Or everyone wanted to leave.
Yeah.
I told him, get out of the car. I'll tell you why. Go with the other people.
Get out of the car.
He'll
dude.
say, why? I'll tell him, because you need to go home. But tonight, I feel like driving 1 hour before I get home. I feel like getting a
So
coffee.
I'd always head in and I stay in the car.
So he stays in the car.
Oh, wow.
Or
You
he
ruin it
may
for him.
leave. But when he stays in the car, he's seen how it plays out. Because,
Yeah, we literally fighting for the whole entire ride back home.
Oh, wow.
yeah, but we're fighting towards the end. When he's like, all right, you did my head in. Like, the drive
Stop.
finished.
Take me, let's go get a decaf before we go.
So that spontaneous act that I did initially
Yeah.
became a routine. It became a habit.
But that's
Okay.
normal.
It's still
That's,
spontaneous.
yeah, no, but
I never
Spon-
thought that growing up I'd randomly go on a 40-minute drive or 1 hour
So
drive.
yeah, so that initial
Yeah.
point where you decided randomly to go do something that might be spontaneous,
and
as it's unplanned. But when you go there the second time, that's planned.
no, it became premeditated then. Became a
So
habit.
it became a habit.
That's
That's
what
what
I'm-
he's trying to say.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So the spontaneous act became habitual.
Okay. We could have reached this point a long time ago.
But you were arguing against me.
No, no,
The
I'm with
argument
you.
was
I'm
the
with
way.
you.
No, not my argument. The way you worded it the first time.
How did I
is
word
what
it?
you said. I'm habitual and spontaneous.
I said I'm habitually spontaneous.
He said I'm habitual and spontaneous. Then that's why I said. How
Oh,
can you
I
be
did.
habitual
Sorry.
and spontaneous
Yeah,
at the same
it's
time?
and I am habitual.
That's what threw me off. And then I realized, okay, I get what he means.
Well, the I'm habitual part is, for example, do you know how you said when I jumped in your car as a passenger, I told you, where's the charger? Do you have a chewing gum? We just had coffee. That's my habits.
By the way, you can always jump in the car with me. Always have 2 chargers. Always have chewing gum.
You?
Always have water. And in the van, always.
And how do you know that? You're right. That's my essential needs.
I know that because he complained to Halbuni all the time.
Look, with him, it becomes a joke.
Yeah,
It becomes like a run-on play. I just get used to venting to him. Do you know when I don't
and
see...
I'm the middleman. I'm always copping it from both ends.
How funny the other day we're having a dialogue between 3 of us, and then him and I haven't had a heated one in a long time. We went back and forth.
You know what I hate? And both of you try to drag me in.
No, and I looked at you. I'm waiting for you to respond. He did too, and you're like to us, man, I'm staying out of this.
I turned around like, I'm not having it.
In my head, I'm like, where are you going? Who do you agree with?
After you left, me and him went and had a coffee.
We spent 2 hours
Yeah,
together
I-
after you left.
I saw because I drove off. I'm like, hang on.
Yeah.
Graham went in his car.
Look, speaking of traveling and taking care of yourself while you're traveling, and our experiences within this country traveling, I'll tell you what happened to me recently. I decided to travel somewhere. It was for a need to go on a 3 hour and 45-minute train ride.
3 hour?
And 45-minute train
Where'd
ride.
you end up?
In Maitland, Newcastle, inner Newcastle, the Hunter Valley.
Wow.
And I left here 4:45 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
It was that amazing, the experience. Alone, I went alone.
Did you go in the special trains or
No,
in the
normal
usual?
train.
Yeah?
But when we reached Newcastle, towards Newcastle, we switched to an old train.
What do you mean?
Like
the older trains.
The older trains, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I thought when they go that far, they use them not long, the little,
Super trains.
not super trains. Have you seen the ones that travel interstate? They look different than the normal
I think
trains.
because it was Newcastle, it's not too far away.
Maybe so.
But anyway, I after 3 hours in, we started to get towards Newcastle. And I'm alone.
Mm-hmm.
I did all my work on my laptop.
You keep referring to yourself as we.
I love to do that.
You're giving yourself a lot of emphasis lately.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong referring to yourself in plural
No,
form.
usually the plural form is out of respect to someone.
Yeah, and I do it out of
He,
respect.
they are.
They.
We.
Yeah.
It could be referring to a person.
Yeah, if
But
if there's they're highly respected.
It's
so
true.
You say, but the king, he they are.
My nickname was the
Yeah.
King growing up.
He's really believed
Go,
this.
go.
No, it was.
All you're
I don't
missing
want it now.
is a purple
but I
robe.
was called King.
A purple what?
A robe, purple robe. You know how purple is a sign of royalty?
I don't believe in my own hype.
Yes, you do. Look at this guy. I don't believe in my own hope.
Hey,
We
do,
we don't believe in our own hope.
did I sound like that? I didn't sound like that.
Here we go again. Yes, you did.
You can't act like me. People
Alright,
get confused
fine,
between
fine.
you and I.
Okay.
All right. Anyhow,
They do, don't they?
anyhow, Newcastle. You took the 3 hour train.
Yeah, I got to the stop and I'm waiting for my destination. I seen Maitland. I didn't realize that there's East Maitland or whatever, and then there's normal Maitland, like the area Maitland.
Yeah.
I jumped out of the train, and the way they had the signs was different to here because there's only like 2 signs in the whole thing. I jumped out of the train, and he was on the phone with me, and I had just shut. I'm like, oh, I reached my destination. I jump out. I look. Oh shit! The sign's telling me that my destination is next stop.
Oh,
And the sign in
snap.
front of it is the station I'm currently at.
And how far?
And there was like an hour between the next train.
Whoa!
I'm like, no. As the doors were closing, I just jumped right back in. My heart.
You
was-
made it.
You made it sound like you were gonna miss the train.
I was.
I
Because
thought you
jumped,
missed it.
I jumped out and I'm looking, I reached my destination. I'm like, oh, shivers.
Yeah. Did you really say shivers?
I say shivers usually.
No, but
I don't
did-
remember.
okay,
It was a while ago, about 3 weeks ago. I jumped right back in.
You don't want to know what he said.
Well, you just reminded me.
Talking about the derogative language.
I
You would have
read
tried a lot of
Did you
it.
get to your destination?
peacefully. It reminded me of once when we used to catch a train for school.
Yeah.
I had torn my ACL on my knee,
Yeah.
and I hadn't had surgery yet. I still thought that I was strong physically. I was about to miss the train. I'm sprinting down the stairs at Liverpool, and there were sets of stairs.
Oh,
the
man.
last set of stairs. This is so funny. Those who listen to this show were with me. Some of them at the time. The last set of stairs, I thought there's nothing. I forgot that I've had an ACL in my knee. It's torn completely. I decided to jump the last set of stairs.
Why? You mean the block of stairs?
The block of stairs, sorry, and to land in a safe position.
What do they call it? A flight of
It's like a
stairs?
vertical leap.
flight of stairs.
Vertical leap,
Yeah.
and then land in a safe position, squat as I'm landing, and walk into the train. I jumped, I landed,
You didn't get back up.
I re-tore the ligament that was torn.
Oh no!
I hopped on one leg, and I realized the guy that's working there told the guy to just keep it open. I hopped in one leg.
Did you come to school that day?
I came to school the next day in crutches. I sat on the
remember.
train instantaneously. My leg was up,
Yeah.
and it was a balloon.
Oh,
And everyone,
man.
all my friends that were there were like,
What's wrong with you?
"What were you thinking?"
In his mind, he was a professional athlete.
Usain Bolt.
Yeah.
I'm an elite.
And by the way, I didn't fall. I landed successfully. But when I landed, I'm like, oh, I can't
All
have
that
this feeling.
pressure
Yeah, the
and-
pressure.
Yeah.
Because the ACL wasn't intact.
Can I have a suggestion?
Yeah.
Can we buy 3 couches?
Yeah, of
What
course
kind
we
of
can.
3 single-seater couches.
Why are our awesome race chairs uncomfortable?
Yeah, what's wrong with the race chairs?
I don't know. I feel like we need to chill. Have 3 couches, a little coffee table.
Do you guys want tea? I'll make you some tea.
No, it's too late now for tea.
Okay.
I had pre-workout.
Because he
and
looks like he wants to be very comfortable.
you know what I had today? I called Graham. I was telling him, venting. I had a coffee. Then right after the coffee, got up, forgot that I had the coffee. A high dosage
no.
of pre-workout, and I
Oh,
took
no.
it down. I forgot that I had the coffee. I thought I only had the pre-workout. I get to the gym. Not only did I not have energy, I had the opposite. I had shivers. My body was shivering.
Too much sugar.
I had caffeine. whatever you
Caffeine,
call it.
sorry.
I couldn't push. I called Graham up because it's happened to me before. I'm like, oh man,
Oh, no.
it's a horrible. You're stuck between this like sensation of sickness and
What was your
dizziness.
phrase?
It's like I don't know.
Your phrase.
For caffeinated, I don't know.
No, caffeinated.
Yeah, the phrase though, when you're experiencing that. The caffeinated one.
Which one?
That I'm caffeinated out. I'm caffeinated.
I'm all caffeinated. I'm
Yeah.
caffeinated out.
You were caffeinated out.
Point well taken. Thanks.
You were.
Nah, yeah. I'll make sure not to do that again. That was a horrible sensation.
But
Wow.
look, my response to him was at least he still went through the motions and didn't go home.
Yeah.
Because the reason why I say that, it's not just a motivational little speech. I've been to the gym before when I hadn't been training or I was on and off. I've literally, no joke, I've walked into the gym, looked around and walked right back out.
I've seen that.
I've done that before, but that was way before. Now I don't do that.
Yeah, I was younger
Yeah.
and that was my...
You know what happened, but for me, I don't know about your experience. I walked into the gym and I'm like, this is really boring. I don't like it. And I walked back out. I didn't find, man, that was my fault. I took exercise as a chore, not as a hobby, not as something, not being healthy as something being nice. Now I don't care what the results are. I don't care. I go in there, I want to eat
You're not
healthy, I want to
strict.
exercise.
Yeah.
I just want to have a good, positive vibe.
Sometimes that happens when people don't really understand their goals.
That,
Yeah,
I was just
didn't
going to
have an
tell you.
understanding. I thought I'm going to be this Ronnie
that
Coleman,
you
this
just hit
sort of thing.
You just grabbed the hammer and you hammered it right through the nail on top of his head.
Through the nail? Far out, man.
You know why? Because I was just about to tell you, he took the words off my tongue. That-
See, I'm sinking with you.
yeah, as they say, telepathy. I was about to tell you, did you realize that you didn't set goals with your
Yeah.
training? Because that happened to me, believe it or not, when I was 18 years of age.
Wow, tell us about this experience.
It was
Is that sarcasm?
I'm serious. I'm
What's
serious.
sarcasm?
is this the moment where I walk out and do my own podcast? I'm telling you, I've got everything ready. The whole setup's ready.
The Mustafa
no,
Graham
no,
experience.
Remember that meme you sent me about those shut the F up.
Oh, yeah, stop the
They sent me a
podcast.
meme that all these
Oh, I haven't
celebrities
sent it to
kept saying,
Halbuni.
shut the F up, shut up, shut up. Will you please just shut up? Different celebrities.
Yeah.
Then the last guy says, we don't want you to have another podcast.
Oh,
Shut up.
Podcast. We don't care about your opinion.
Oh no.
Too
Yeah.
many opinions flying around.
Well, it's good that we're quite young, so we don't have those opinions of us just as yet.
We don't really care anyway.
Yeah, I don't really care. It's
Uh,
a
wh-
platform. If you're happy, you're happy. If you're not happy,
You know what? We're doing this for fun.
Don't
You
listen.
like us, listen to
Tell
us.
us about your 18-year-old experience.
so
No goals.
I don't know where to start.
Why are you
I'm
getting
feeling very
emotional?
nostalgic. I haven't spoken about this in a long time.
Just start anyway in the story, and it'll pick up because
Okay.
you'll say, "Oh, wait, this happened before that," and then we'll just the
Because
timeline will construct itself.
You're going to remember a lot of things now.
Okay, go.
I took up training. I took up training initially. I was in year 10.
I
was
remember.
67 kilos.
After
They
he,
told me
after
how-
he met me again in year 10, he realized he needed to go to the gym.
And he goes,
Yeah.
what's going on? This guy's bigger now.
No, he's
And
stronger.
he's not even going gym.
Bigger and stronger.
stronger, but me, I lacked grip strength,
Yeah.
and I had a lot of back pain. And an amazing physiotherapist, he got me to do some band exercises, and he told me that your body type is very athletic and you're crazy. I told him, why am I crazy? He said, trust me, don't see me again. Go train for 2 years and come back and talk to me. I took his advice.
Yeah.
Did you see him after 2 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I told him, thank you. By then, he was a building developer and he got rid of all.
Left
He
physio?
didn't care about his physio. He left it for someone to run.
It's like, who's this guy?
But I guess he's smart because the advice he gave me
that's-
was spot
Or
on.
maybe that's why I said, "Don't come back to me."
I'm shutting down.
But his
We're
idea,
here.
his idea as a sports therapist to a 15-year-old was, there's no point me treating you. Go build your musculoskeletal system and your muscles, and your spine will hold itself up.
Okay.
I did it anyway. I was 67 kilos. By the end of year 10, the holidays came and I trained even harder. Back then, you know, when you're young,
Yeah.
your natural test is through the roof.
Yeah.
I was just training I went from 67 kilos natural to 67 to 76 kilos
Yeah.
natural, quality, lean muscle. I got to a stage where I wanted to bench press 100 kilos, 6 sets of 10 by
And
myself.
at that age, don't forget, he's quite young. At that age, he's
Yeah.
only 15, trying to achieve that.
I want a good bench press as well form. Why? Do you know why? Because I once asked a guy to spot me on 7.5 kilos on each side.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't bench more than 5 kilos on each side. The next step was 2.5s.
7.5.
Do you know what this guy did? I'm not joking. He started doing bicep press. I don't even know him.
He's doing these kills with
I was a little 15-year-old. While spotting me, he started doing curls. I put that in my head as a driving factor that one day, you son of a gun, I want to come back to this gym.
And I'm going to kill you 100 kilo bench press.
I want to bench press and get you to spot me. And I'm going to spot you for less. You know, 1 year later, I went back to that gym as a one-day pass. This is a side story. He was there. He asked me, I swear, he asked me, can you spot me? My smile was this big. He was doing 75 kilos. And he's pushing. I put on the 100 sack. I told him, can you spot me, please? He's like, all right. As he spotted me, I'm like, oh, I don't think I need your help. And I smashed
What
it
a
out.
show off.
I told him, 1 year ago, you did such and such. They
Wow.
never do that to a young guy.
Oh, wow.
But did he do it
He's
to put
fierce.
you down?
He started I don't even know them. He started telling his mate, look at this guy.
Man, some guys.
This was back in the
Oh,
time
that's-
frame, the whole bodybuilding era.
But did he really need to do that? What did he gain from doing something like that?
Well, thank God.
But look
my
what
personality.
it did
running him
affect him positively though.
My
So it
personality-
did push him.
I took it as a positive. I looked at it in a positive way. I was 15. I can't. The guy is 6 foot tall. What can I do? I'm gonna come back and
You know what? You want to know what killed my gains at one time? I was 18 years old. I used to go to the Bankstown gym. I don't remember what it's called anymore.
Fitness first.
No. We
Old
Snap
school,
Fitness?
man. No. Old
No,
school.
no.
Old school.
We had
train
our
station.
train station.
I went there for years, man. So I went to train
I think
station.
my memory is better than yours.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Anyhow, everyone's screaming out. Lee Priest is downstairs next
That's
door.
right.
Who's Lee Priest?
Lee Priest is...
Luke Wood too.
So, man, Luke Wood's got nothing on Lee Priest, man. Luke Wood died anyways. Let's not talk about Luke Wood. Lee Priest is one of the top bodybuilders in the world. Top. Physique, I don't know, man.
And he's short too. Like his
Yeah,
frame is not huge.
I can't explain it, man. This guy was Ronnie Coleman. He won over Ronnie Coleman once.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's excellent.
Bro, Ronnie Coleman 8 times Mr. Olympia. He put him to shame in one of the shows.
Please remember, I have no clue when it comes
Anyhow,
to
so Lee
bodybuilding.
Priest is downstairs. So you're talking about top athlete in bodybuilding downstairs, and you know how you go to the gym.
You
even
have
though
these
look-
aspirations and these
you
heroes.
look at photos. You go, how bad could it? You look at photos. You go, I'm gonna get there one day. You forget. Well, you can see you're young. You don't know how they got there. So you're sitting there, you're flexing in the mirror. You're pumping. You're doing arms. You got the pump on. I walk downstairs with the pump on. Lee Priest is downstairs. I look at him from far. I'm like, this guy hadn't competed in like 5 years. He looks freaking humongous.
Wow.
Man, his biceps, his forearms are the size of my legs. His size of my thighs. I rock up, I shook his hands, take a photo next to him. So I flexed my bicep, he flexed his biceps. They took a photo of us. I looked at it. Man,
You felt embarrassed.
I didn't know what to say. I'm like, what the heck's going on? And then he flexes, he does that shake, that wiggle with his quads, and he flexes them.
Oh.
Man, he almost ripped his shorts.
See, that look for me,
Wow.
I never wanted that look.
Yeah, but see, me, I wanted that look. And then when I saw that, I'm like, man, I don't think I'll ever get there.
Well,
Be positive. Lucky he didn't bicep curl.
cool,
He
yeah.
would have bought, yeah.
The point that I was sharing before in my younger days, when I was really young, was when I got to 79 kilos of lean muscle. In my eyes, I put on nearly 13 kilos in a year and a half. I literally felt that I achieved all my goals, and my mistake was I didn't renew the goals. And I bench pressed 100 easy. I lifted the
And
weight
then he
uh,
that I wanted.
plateaued after that.
Yeah.
I didn't just plateau. I walked into the gym. I told the lady cancel my membership,
Oh, wow.
just like that.
Yeah, nah, me, that,
And then he went home and he said, I made it, guys.
I did, and I said,
Literally.
but the older me was like, you put new goals.
Yeah.
Like change your training, put new goals.
But,
But,
look,
in
but
my
that's,
mind,
but that's life. Don't be upset.
no,
You
I'm
learn
not-
from the
I'm not-
experience.
I took a year and a half off, 2 years off.
And we went back down to 67.
No, I went back down to 75,
yeah.
and
You
after
only
6
lost 1
months,
kilo.
no, I lost 5.
You were
I-
76.
I stopped at 82 kilos.
Oh, 82. Sorry. I thought you
And-
said 76.
But back then, each kilo I put on it took me like 3 months. It was pure muscle
Okay.
because I had a fast metabolism.
That's how it is,
But
man.
my point was setting new goals. Because I didn't set new goals, I felt
And
like I achieved it
Not
all.
only that, man.
Wow.
Set realistic goals. These guys that you look at, honestly, genetically, they're different human beings. Don't look, for example, at Ronnie Coleman and say, I'm going to be like that.
Yeah.
Number one, the amount of drugs these people take. Number two, the amount of food these people intake. Number three,
They have professionals behind them.
yeah, not only that, naturally speaking, they genetically look massive, bro. Look at Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's what, almost 80 years old. He still has a massive bicep. Still.
Even Hulk Hogan.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Is that weird
These
bicep.
guys that look like that, then with
Yeah.
the extra work, with the
But
extremely
they,
hard
weren't,
work.
but they weren't always like that.
No, I'm saying
but
that.
initially
That's what I'm
when
trying
they
to
were
say is
young-
don't sit
No,
there.
look
Get
at John
this.
Cena when he was younger.
Well, he reached the potential that he realized through training that he's genetically
Yes.
gifted.
So, but
His
but-
muscle belly.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't
but
mean
he wasn't. He wasn't.
He was skinny.
He was very skinny.
For example, look at Brock Lesnar. The guy was 15 years old. He looks like.
Yeah,
Have you
but
seen him
that's-
at 15
So
years of
there are people like that, but
No,
there
no,
are
there are.
people that achieve the
It's-
same look
yeah.
through hard
But
work
what
and
I'm trying,
effort.
yeah, what I'm trying to say
Not,
is
not the complete same look with the bodybuilder.
Yeah, no matter how much effort you put,
Nah, there's a
you,
stage.
You can look real nice, man.
Yeah.
But just don't have unrealistic goals where you think if you're 70 kilos, you're gonna be 300-pound bodybuilder.
Well,
That's not how life
to-
works.
to-
So be realistic with your, unless you have the potential, obviously. Otherwise, be realistic and know what category you are of what type of body you have, and have fun with it and look your best and do your best. But be realistic with your goals.
to me now,
that's
as
my
an-
advice.
That's a nice advice.
as an older person that's training now compared to when I was
Because
young,
that's what affected me. I had unrealistic goals. I'll go for 3 months, 6 months,
and you won't achieve those
I
goals.
won't achieve it, then I'll go back home and like stuff.
smart
This is
goals.
boring.
Well, to
Yeah.
me, now that what I do, one, I'm not hard on myself, and two, I don't have the time that I used to have before, because back then at school was train, eat, sleep,
Yeah,
and a bit of study.
bit of study.
But train, eat after every training session 6 eggs. Every training session.
How long ago was this?
10 years ago.
Wow, man, how times turn.
10 years ago.
It's a 360. He's still in the same
Do you miss that lifestyle?
Nah, I'm not in the same spot.
Do you miss that lifestyle?
No, because I wanted to get out of school.
School
I'm
days
talking
are
about
awesome,
the
man.
lifestyle.
They are, but as
No
in
responsibility where you can do, what you want. You can just go and train
still
and
do that.
eat and
because
don't have any responsibility. Of
No,
course you do.
I
You have
do.
work. You have bills. You have you have a life to
but I
live.
still try to live my life in a way where I can still do the things that I love to do. I don't, and one of them is training. But what I was saying is that now with my training, my goals are just to be as athletic,
Yeah,
to have range of movement, to be mobile, and to be strong,
to be healthy.
and which equals healthy.
That's what I'm saying.
So with my training now, I do some weird exercises. If you look at me, like sometimes people look at me at the gym and think I'm a weirdo, but if they look into what I'm doing specific training to develop knee strength.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm doing specific training sometimes to develop mobility.
So you're more
Flexibility.
goal orientated.
Yeah. So today, for example, I did legs. I was doing a workout where people who are invested in the gym, I can see him through the mirror. He's just like every 5 minutes he's staring at me. But if you look into that specific exercise, it's not a bodybuilder exercise routine. You have the two 25 kilo plates stacked on top of each other. You're standing on top of the 25 kilo plate, either with a bar or no bar.
Yeah.
You're using one leg and doing single leg squats.
Mm.
Yeah.
And your other leg is pointing out in a straight direction.
Okay.
So that's a way of developing knee strength. Why? As we get older, our muscles and our bones, naturally, they become weaker. Even if you're training, they're not as strong as they used to be. If you develop joint strength and knee strength and mobility, you can be into your 50s and your 40s and you'll still have that flexibility in that range of motion.
100%. Train smart.
Train smart.
Train smart. Don't sit there. Man, even pro bodybuilders now,
That was
most
most
of
advice.
most of them train machinery. Most of
Yeah,
them.
they avoid injuries.
Yeah, because they said, okay, maybe we can get a certain look with the free weights. They go, but it's a high risk of injury, and 1 year out, or even let's say you tear a tricep or tear a bicep, you'll never look the same again. Never, because it's a torn muscle that even if it's repaired, it's not the same shape. It's not the same look.
Because people don't realize when you're training, and you agree with me on this, the slightest wrong movement, say if your neck, for example, you're squatting, if your neck is not neutral and you look up or down while you're squatting and you're not focused, the slightest movement,
You're gone.
and you know that happened to me. I was doing a warm up
Yeah,
on the hack squat,
yeah.
the one that the hack squat. I wasn't focused on one of the reps. From then until now, I've had a back niggle that's been with me, and it hasn't
there you
gone.
Man,
It gets worse, and it comes back, and it goes.
look at what Dexter Jackson, 50 years old. For whoever wants to research Dexter Jackson,
Doing it right now. I forgot
50
what he looks
years
like.
old. He's still one of the biggest guys on muscles wise.
Wow.
He's still competing on the Olympia stage.
But he's a
shows
coach
you
now.
How
Is he?
consistency and
Oh, yeah.
working hard can
End of the year, he said he'll
it
retire,
can help
become a
you
coach.
achieve your goals.
Yeah, 50 years
Well,
old.
look
But
at,
again,
look at The Rock.
yeah, train smart.
The Rock.
I mean, look at Dexter Jackson, 50
Even
years
the-
old. Google him. Look at this human
No,
being.
I googled him. He's a machine. The Rock's 48 years of age.
Look at him. Yeah.
Yeah, but look, I don't have a gym that I take with me
No,
wherever I
but
go.
the point is, train smart, warm
Of
up your
course.
joints.
He trains very
strengthen-
smart.
Strengthen
Even though
yourself. Try to use machinery if you're new to the game. Stay away from.
I'll train smart like The Rock, but I'd
Yeah.
love to have his doctor.
His doctor.
Yeah,
What's his doctor got to do with it?
his doctor. I'd love his doctor
Why?
because whatever his doctor's giving him,
Ah,
I'd love to have his
his
doctor.
man.
His doctor must be
You know,
amazing.
everything they're on is prescribed. All these pro
Of
bodybuilders.
course, especially
everything
The Rock.
they're on is prescribed.
Have you seen how big he is now?
The Rock? No, I haven't seen him at 40.
So right now, 48 years of age. He stood next to a bodybuilder,
Yeah.
but he had this look,
You know
this
he's open-
athletic look.
You know he's opening Athleticon. It's a massive
Who?
bodybuilding comp.
Oh yeah, he is
Yeah.
with his ex-wife.
She's
She's a bodybuilder, and his manager.
Yeah. So he's because she's
Wow.
an ex-bodybuilder.
Yeah, the guy's the
He's
money.
opened up
He-
one of the biggest bodybuilding shows.
He gets paid $1 million to put a post
Yeah, it
on
was-
Instagram.
What?
He search it.
Yeah, same as
No,
the
he
Kardashians. The
doesn't.
Kardashians.
He gets $1 million
Per post?
per
Post,
post
picture.
sponsored post.
I know the Kardashians for sure.
A sponsored post, not any post.
No. If you give him something and he sponsors your product,
Yeah,
it's
that
$1
makes
million.
sense. Per sponsored post, not per any post.
but one post, $1
Man, I
million.
was psyched for this Athleticon to open this seed, and I had to shut up.
Also, speaking of that $1 million, how much money do you really need to have? Like, if someone's getting $1 million per post, what would you do with that money?
I'll be honest with you. Just yesterday, I was watching a mini documentary about billionaires
Yeah,
and how a lot of people are against
I watched it.
people
Too.
being billionaires,
I
and
watched it
why is it that people are allowed to become billionaires?
Is that the congresswoman who's trying to push her agenda of billionaires shouldn't exist
No,
because
no,
they don't need that much money?
no. It was
wrong
it was
podcast.
more about a interview that happened with I think Mark Zuckerberg and someone
or
else.
Jeff Bezos.
I can't remember exactly with Mark Zuckerberg and someone else, and they were discussing how billionaires there shouldn't be billionaires in this world according to them. There should be enough money for everyone to get around.
That goes towards the fight of equality and equity.
No, but there are some people that sit at home and they don't work hard and they don't do anything and they can't say I expect the same.
But look at my point. I feel strongly against what you're saying.
Okay, here we go.
Because
Hey, I've got one for you when you're done.
a billionaire
Yeah,
who became a billionaire,
Yeah.
I'm talking about a legit billionaire,
yeah.
the taxes that are charged on a billionaire are different to the taxes that are charged on a working man.
100%.
Billionaires and big corporate
Yeah, but
companies.
now you're
Let me
talking about
finish.
something different.
But it ties into your argument.
Here we go.
Billionaires who are getting charged, they get away with this tax that's enforced on the population, on the average working man who gets slugged with tax, compared to the billionaire. Because he's a billionaire, he gets away with it because his company, for example, is one of the most it's a pioneer within itself and within the country. It makes a lot of money for the government, so they get away with a lot of tax compared to the working class man who earns 45,000 after tax, and once he earns over 80 grand, he gets taxed even more.
Yeah.
And then the guy that's a billionaire, he doesn't need all that money, number one, and he's getting away with the tax that the working class pays.
But I'll tell you something. He initially wasn't a billionaire. He got to that point by working hard. That's number one. Number two, he's in a position where the government is telling him don't pay tax.
That's right, but
It's not. He's not. He's not going to say, okay, here, take my money. And a lot of these people that are billionaires, they start foundations and they start sort of charities, and they do
philanthropy.
they do a lot of philanthropy. Yeah,
Philanthropy.
philanthropy. They do a lot.
Word I can't say.
But you can't turn around and say, yeah, that's right, billionaires. There shouldn't be any billionaires.
They shouldn't,
I'm-
because
I'm-
why
in-
should
in
there
that-
be
okay.
millionaires? Okay,
In that-
but
in
why
that-
billionaires?
In that
Why
case,
the-
when if you become a millionaire, please start handing out your money, your hard-earned money for free
I will.
to everyone around you, so you don't
but
become.
the poor.
Listen,
and
so
the
you hand
needy-
it out to an extent where you're not a millionaire anymore.
Listen to this.
You can hand out money without
Hey.
losing your millionaireship.
Okay, so here, this guy can hand out billions without losing his billionaireship.
You're going with the argument that the other person
No.
gave to that guy. I
No,
watched that
I'm not.
show that you're
I'm
talking
not.
about.
But what I'm saying, all I'm saying is that if someone worked hard to achieve a certain amount of
It's
money,
their money, bro.
it's their money.
Yeah, but I think that
and
to
if-
become
if-
a
if
billionaire,
that-
you need to confine to some sort of system.
No, mate, look, regardless, listen,
And that's the only way you
regardless,
become
but
a
look, he's
billionaire.
going into conspiracy
It's the
theory,
truth.
Illuminati, and the one first
To-
world order,
To become
the
new world order.
new world
Didn't
order.
you hear the new politician who came out and said we're heading towards a new world order
Yeah,
with the whole
we
COVID?
heard that, but regardless or not, if I'm in a position, I have billions of dollars, and the government is saying, hey, your company benefits us, we're not going to charge you tax.
Yeah.
Do I say no? Please charge me tax.
Not
Of
only
course
that,
not.
you got to remember that how much handouts their companies get. So, in case their companies go bankrupt, the government boosts them back up.
Yes, they get
But-
grants
but
just
you
for them.
But listen to this, man. Amazon by itself employs over 1.5 million people around the world. 1.5
You know-
million people. What other company employs? I'm not saying they're the least paying tax
What about
in the
the
US.
what about the slaves?
biggest
What about
company,
the people that
least
get
paying-
paid $5 an
But
hour
how many
for
human beings
Amazon?
are they sustaining?
What about Apple?
$5 an hour.
What about Apple in China where they're paying people $5 an hour to
Exactly,
do their
guys.
products?
Yeah, but what's but
Should I say?
but can I tell you something? In
It's
China,
enslavement.
no. Listen,
That's
this
the
is
rates, dude.
no. Let me tell you something. This is where people just go by what society throws at them. You see a post, the facts is true. This person gets paid $5 an hour at Apple. But when you look at every other organization there, they get paid $5 an hour there too.
Let me get.
What about Lebanon, man?
Let me double your point.
You think about how much hours they get paid around $5 an hour too in Lebanon.
Yeah, so
Don't go to China.
but what I mean is that you can't sit there and blame Apple
Okay.
when 5,000 other businesses are paying the same
Let
rate.
me tell you another. Let me
And these, by the way, those businesses are not billion dollar businesses.
let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Another company in Thailand, they've got their people on the floor. The working conditions are completely terrible. They're on the floor and they're making their products on the floor.
Man, for sure. We're not saying these things don't exist. We're not saying that. But we're just saying, obviously, they're wrong. Anyhow, I've got one for you. Have you heard Steve Jobs' deathbed statement?
Yeah, I have.
Have you heard it, Halbuni?
Remind me, I might have forgotten.
Steve Jobs says, I reached the pinnacle of success in the business
Oh,
world.
yeah, I've heard.
In others' eyes, my life is an epitome of success. However, aside from work, I have little joy in the end. Wealth is only a fact of life that I'm accustomed to. And he says so on and so on. It's a long speech. This guy said that I have little joy in the end.
In the deathbed?
Yeah,
Think about it, because when you're taking all
and he says
this money,
money he's accustomed to. That's a lifestyle. That's the only lifestyle he knows. Same way, that's the only lifestyle we know. He goes, it's not even a joy anymore.
Because it's so
It's
normal.
just life. Yeah, so there you go. So at the end of the day, chase for the proper success in your
With
eyes.
family
Yeah.
and
And
health.
again, success to me might mean something different than what it means to you.
No, of course not. Now, the discussion, the point of the discussion wasn't that money was the main focus or money
Yeah.
is the main agenda, but it was rather, are people allowed to make that much money? The answer is yes.
But definitely, man.
I don't think people should be making billions of dollars when we have third world countries
But
that
how
are
could
still
you,
third
but
world
how
countries.
could you say that?
Because
How could you say to a person that's working very hard and that built a successful business, don't make $1 billion, you're not allowed? If you had restructured that statement and said the government should apply the same restrictions on them as they apply on us, okay, maybe that might be a different argument. But you're telling this is what you're saying.
You know what I think he means though? I think he means that, all right, they're making billions of dollars by harming so many others, and they're not contributing back to society with the billions. That's what he's trying to say.
But regardless,
Yeah.
you can't say that people shouldn't make. But and that statement is very general, by the way. He's saying
That's
all
what I'm trying to say.
billionaires.
No, you can't generalize. You can't. If you
True.
if
Don't look at me like you're you're upset at
yeah,
me.
If you made billions of dollars and you didn't harm anyone along the way, you haven't harmed anyone along the way. You didn't mistreat anyone. You didn't not pay anyone. You didn't pay anyone what they're not supposed to get paid. You didn't enslave children. You didn't harm human beings or animals. And you paid back to charity. You paid back what you're supposed to do. You put back into society.
Can I just make a point here? I want to make a point.
No,
Yeah.
it's-
Do you guys realize that you've both been talking for 5 minutes and I still haven't been able to say my point?
That's not true.
3 minutes.
When I get back into this podcast, it's going to be 2.5 minutes. You over exaggerated.
minutes.
Listen,
All
I want to make a point about what you
You
said.
can make your point. I haven't finished.
Just about what you said.
Can I say my point? Can I finally say my
go,
point?
drop it.
Finally, I can speak. Okay. Yes, my statement was general. I didn't mean that people cannot become billionaires.
Here we go.
What I was saying is that in society today, if you look at all the billionaires in the world, whether they made it through the oil money or they were
Are you very rich, like a prince, and we don't know because he goes, I'm looking at you.
I'm a prince that's not rich. Technically.
He is a UB. Or Jeff Bezos, for example.
Okay.
Tell me one that helps third world countries like Africa.
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates.
What?
Have you seen how he
Can I say-
smirked in the camera in the last interview?
Can I say Bill Gates?
And
About
he's so
his
full of it.
vaccine?
And he smirked and he says,
About his
with his
vaccine?
wife, he says, people won't know what hit him. They will only know when the second wave hits.
About the COVID?
Yeah.
Have you seen his? I don't want to change topics, but have you seen his video about him proclaiming that in the vaccine there won't be microchips?
Can you share it with us?
It was just hilarious. Anyway,
Shouldn't I share it with him?
share what that was. It. He said a
but-
video about a vaccine, and then in there he just mentioned that there won't be any microchips being embedded because there was some
Conspiracy theory.
speculation about it. But regardless, let's go back to
But did you see the one where he was smoking
But okay,
during the COVID
But you
crisis?
gotta remember, this guy is one of the biggest weirdos on the face of the planet.
But what's
Biggest weirdos.
But
So he's one of the most socially awkward human beings. So you can't say he's smoking. This guy probably smokes when people die. He does. He's very socially awkward. You get it's like Mark Zuckerberg. You can't take him seriously.
But why
Person
does-
looks like a lizard.
But even Jeff,
But-
it's true, and even Jeff Bezos, the guy looks like a weirdo.
That's what, because these people at the reach, they're actually socially awkward human
Oh
beings.
no, I don't think so.
Bro,
They all have
to
something
become-
in common.
have you seen
For
Mark
you,
Zuckerberg?
but for you to become a billionaire, you have to be able to hold a conversation.
Not necessarily. Trust me, not necessarily.
That's
of
where
them are
I
morons.
think that's my conspiracy theory, like Elon Musk, that these guys reach a state.
But tell
where
me
they
why they
conform-
can't. Why they can't be billion? Why can't they be
Because
billionaires in this society?
the way society is built, in my view, around
Yeah.
the world, that when you reach a certain stage where you're earning X amount of dollars, you need to conform to something
Okay,
in particular,
that's one
and
thing.
then you'll be allowed to
That you're-
move forward.
Listen, your conspiracy theory is one thing, and
Mine.
you
It's not
saying
mine.
you saying that people cannot become billionaires, or you don't want, or that society should not let people become billionaires. That's another thing completely.
Look,
I'm gonna hold you to it until you admit.
I was saying a general statement, but what
Ayubi?
Ayubi said. No, look, what
Ayubi.
Ayubi said it right.
This time,
No, when Ayubi
Takhara.
said, I said a general statement,
Yeah.
but then Ayubi, and it's true what he said, and he said what he's trying to say, I shouldn't have been as general. You can become a billionaire,
Yeah, that's my
but
point.
if you
was.
become a billionaire, you can't escape society. You can't
So-
get away.
So
with
now
what the
you're back-
working class
back
man.
to what we said.
You can't get away what the working class man is getting away with.
No, and the fact is, I guess what Graham is so fired up at is that if maybe one or two of these billionaires were to help out the very poor countries, everyone will be okay.
They would definitely make a difference. But
Everyone
look,
will be okay.
can I just mention there are other people that are making differences around the world, and
There
they're not
are.
billionaires. They might
No,
be millionaires. So let's be honest, you need money to make a difference this day and age. So there are people out there that are spending their money for the greater good. So it's more about actually understanding that this does happen.
Look, in essence,
In essence, you were incorrect about your statement.
I was general.
In essence,
Ayubi,
In summary,
Ayubi, I want you to end this podcast on the note that you should end the podcast.
in summary, I
in-
think you
in essence,
misconstrued.
in summary,
I
Yeah.
think you
His
misconstrued
statement
my
didn't make
general
sense.
statement.
Yes.
I think you misconstrued my statement, which was general. And if I can
Okay,
take
I'm
it
going
back,
to repeat. Since our listeners can go
thank
back
you
and
for
listen.
listening to the short sticks.
No, since our listeners can repeat.
he's done.
Why are you doing that? What's wrong with you?
This guy,
You just can't hack. You can't hack it. Why? Why did you just ruin it like that?
and gentlemen, we'll see you next week on podcast.
Why? But why did you do that? Stop looking at me like that. Behind the scenes.
there you go.
Are you serious?
I think you win.
Look, I know he was running away
Yeah.
as usual, running away using the bathroom as an excuse.
Second time in an hour.
Oh no!
Anyhow,
While he's in the bathroom, what's your opinion on Graham?
what's my opinion on it?
What's your opinion on
He's
Graham?
a bit salty, but he's alright
Yeah?
most of the time. I don't know.
And how do you find him as a friend?
Nah, he's good, man. I can't talk bad about him.
No, well, my questions aren't
No, I'm not
suggesting
saying
a
you're
negative.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I can't
Negative
talk back. As in
comment.
I can't think of negative stuff to say.
No,
about him.
but why does it have to be negative? Why can't you say something positive? I said, well,
I'd
how
have
is
to
he as a
think about
friend? How is he? Is he a reliable friend? Is he a trustworthy friend?
Seriously?
Yeah,
He's trustworthy,
yeah.
very nice,
Yeah.
very generous. Nice beard. He's been oiling it up every day now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bit softer.
beard softener.
Are you back from your break? Can we continue?
Huh? Sorry?
Can we continue?
Ladies and gentlemen, you have just tuned in to another exciting, amazing podcast by the Short Sticks.